Hi, this is Kevin Eastman, co-creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you're listening to me on another Geek Fried podcast. Why? Yeah!
Thank you very much.
Coming to some ears near you. In a world so like this one, you couldn't tell the difference. Geeks and fanatics engage in eternal war for the perfect film pitch. Judged by their peers, and against all odds they cry, "Pitch, please." Hello and welcome to Pitch Please. I am the legendary bard, Mr. Mike. Bard, I'll take it. I am technically a bard. I play a bard in D&D. I'll take it. I am the legendary bard, Mr. Mike Orvis, and I have with me two guests. I say guests, they're my co-hosts, they're my friends, they're my compatriots that always come to this podcast. If those of you who don't know what you're listening to, why you're listening to a random episode, that's fine. Like, cool, welcome. Take a place by the fire. Not there. That's where Dave sits. You should know that if you'd have listened to the first couple of episodes. Never mind. Pitch Please is a... What? Excuse me, I haven't introduced you yet, being very rude. Pitch Please is a podcast where two geeks have a pitched battle of some kind of franchise, some sort of nonsense, as determined by a D20 before the show begins. The winner is then decided by whoever is the host. This week it is me, and with me are my special friends, my co-hosts, my guests, and sometimes my lovers. On my left is the coolest of daddies, the daddy cool, the James Brown of dads, the Dad Brown of Jameses. For only $5.99, you can unlock his special Dad Wisdom podcast on his very own Patreon. It is Ben Fee.
Literally none of that is true. I mean, first of all, I'm on his right, not his left.
I always imagine you on my left. I don't know why. I imagine we're in like in my mind's eye.
I like that you thought about this more than once.
Yeah. Sorry that I care about.
I always imagine you're on my left.
That we create, Callum. In my mind's eye, we sit like on a round table, and to my left is Ben, and to my right is Callum, being all like deriding in a hood. Don't know why you're wearing a hood, but you wear a hood. And on my right is the sexiest man alive. For $15.99, you can unlock his Tier 2 Patreon, where you can see his Doki Doki Literature Club boudoir-inspired photo shoot. Not that Geek Pride would ever endorse that or date those kind of people, ever. Matt. It is Callum Tyndall.
I think this intro might have been the peak Mike Orvis intro. I also like, though, that I'm pretty sure this is the first episode we've had of the 10 years it feels we've been recording this podcast where we've just like straight up admitted it's weird that we call whoever is pitching guests because it's just us three every time.
It is. I'd sort of been during the day. I was like, oh yeah, I'm hosting tonight. That's good. And then I kind of like in my head, I was like, oh, I'll do a little like Patreon gag. That's always good. Yeah. And then I think in our preamble, we got so amped and so like quite hype that I'm already on the come down. So we're 3.5 minutes in, and I'm just feeling a bit like I've had a sip of Coca-Cola, not a sponsor, just a drink. And
but if they wanted to.
But I mean, if they wanted to, it would go a little bit something like this. Holidays are coming. Oh, it's Coca-Cola. Hi, I'm Mike Orvis of the Geek Pride podcast and many other type of podcasts. I drink Coca-Cola. I also have a massive dick. These things are completely related. Oh, it's Coca-Cola. Or something. This week we are looking at a Marvel franchise. It could be literally any Marvel franchise. Does anyone want a preference to go first, or should I flip a coin or roll a dice or throw some scissors at a wall with pictures of your faces? What?
Yeah, we'll need to go back to that, maybe off air, but what? I don't know, Ben, do you have any preference for
I mean,
order?
I've got pictures of your faces printed out and glued onto two blow-up dolls. But I mean, that's just...
Well, if he's already got them printed out, then I may as well use the scissor thing. I mean, if he's already
I'd
got
love
them
to
there.
hear the audio of the scissors hitting our face.
All right. Okay. But I really like what Callum looks like as a girl. All right, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to throw scissors.
There's so many levels to this which are impossible.
That's my dog's just gone to investigate the discarded corpse of Ben. It's Ben first.
It sounded like you'd hit the cable or something.
Well, I mean, my dog's paws on laminated floors sound like cable. I do have a dog. Look, you're making me feel like I've got to justify that I actually have a dog. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm feeling so defensive.
And yet, no one
I do got one. Dave, come here. You're real.
Mike's desperately doing
You're
bark
real.
audio.
Oh, Dave, shut up, mate. Oh, he's outside again, barking at the cats. Oh, fucking hell. Got to go and sort that out. Anyway, what are we doing? It's too late. This is what's happened. If we don't start bang on 9, we just devolve into this madness. Right, so Ben's going to go first because of that very legitimate selection process. What are you pitching, Ben?
I am going to pitch Captain Britain.
Okay, good.
Yes, indeed. Hopefully, Callum's not also chosen.
I
Captain
don't think he
Britain,
would have.
otherwise-
I mean, I was going to rebrand him as Captain Brexit, but
Don't you tarnish Captain Britain with that part.
you do your classic version.
Oh, it's a classic Ben Fee pitch, is it? Fucking butter wouldn't melt. Fucking apple pie.
It's going to be a
There's
trilogy.
fireworks at the end and Americans clapping for no reason other than it happens
Captain
in
Britain
movies.
drinking tea for 2 solid hours.
Yeah, in front of a log fire with his legs crossed on an old leather chair. Right, Ben.
Captain Britain
go,
dates Psylocke or something.
go.
Every pitch. No, that's his sister. That's his. Oh my god! Don't even comment, Callum. You're out. You're out. Okay. First of all, whenever I have Americans clapping and fireworks in my films, it's always in context. It's always tastefully done.
Story-based.
It occurs naturally after the story. Okay, here's the problem that I've got with this pitch today. I've been thinking of a Captain Britain pitch for ages. I'm like, oh, this would be amazing. We should definitely do something like this. And I thought last time when we finished off Marvel properties, I was like, yeah, Captain Britain, fuck yes, in the bag. Because I was so confident, I have done no prep work for this. And I've sat down today and gone, okay, Captain Britain, what do I have? I've got nothing. I've got the words Captain Britain and then just a bare bones shit that I've...
Mocking your insecurity
Yeah.
with every fade in and out of the screen.
I have a blank page of A4 on Word.
Just a picture of an angry
with the words
Alan
Captain
Moore
Britain.
set as your screensaver going, oh, well, you should have bloody written something like I do. I get up, I have a spliff and I write on my typewriter. That's a true thing. That's what he does every day.
It's like he was here.
Remember when he had a magic war with
Yes.
Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
That's my
That
pitch.
was
Awesome. That's fucking
my
amazing.
That was the thing that both of them were convinced was actually happening.
Why are you laughing?
Because Grant Morrison also thought that writing the Invisibles made things actually happen to him in the real world.
That's the
He
plot.
did,
That's the plot
yeah.
of Doctor Strange 2. Don't stop spoiling it. The main antagonists are Grant Morrison and Alan Moore,
I would watch the shit out of
who, in
that
a strange
film.
twist of fate at the end, joined forces to become unlikely friends. Maybe they do the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z and become the ultimate Grand Magus.
I mean, if you were told the villain in this film is Grant Morrison as LSD Wizard, I'd be like, you know what, yeah,
Okay.
I can roll with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right, okay.
Anyway, Captain
Okay.
Britain, tell me who this man who bangs Psylocke is.
Captain Britain. No, you just. Okay. That's. No.
It almost slid past you there.
Why are you trying to sabotage my brain? Okay, I have this idea. Please, by all means, jump in. If you think of something good, jump in, please. 'Cause I've not got half an hour.
That's not how this works.
This is how it should work. It should be a happy family of
Given that all I've got
pitching
to
together.
offer you, from what I know of Captain Britain, is I think Psylocke bangs him, and you've told me that no, she is his sister. Don't know that you want me jumping in. Don't know that.
It's okay. So my idea for Captain Britain, it would be it would be set in the Marvel cinematic universe. So the current cinematic universe got going on. It would, however, be a TV show, be a Netflix TV show. It would very much be in the mould of Misfits.
Yeah.
Do you ever watch Misfits? Not the band.
Loved Misfits up until what was it, season
Right.
3 or 4 when it went to bollocks.
Yeah. Let's not discuss season 3 or 4. Yeah, but no, yeah, and Misfits and Skins and modern British.
Got to have that
telly about
fucking
young
song in it.
people.
That's got the on that weird
wait,
little synth.
I do
you know
not
what I'm
actually-
talking
Oh,
about.
what MGMT, right?
Yeah.
What, I
Kids?
don't know.
I think I've met
And fucking Snow Patrol have got to be in it. It's not even Snow Patrol. Block Party. Oh God, I've got old. Oh no.
Block Party aren't a thing
I
anymore.
don't
Are
know.
they?
They did an
still a
album
thing?
like the other year.
I don't know.
They came back.
But I tried
The
to make
main
a
dude
trendy
mostly does
reference.
stuff
Over
like
year,
that.
I couldn't think of a
1994.
single band.
And you went with Block Party.
Oh no.
Yeah, 2015 they had a new album.
What's happened to me?
Anyway,
That's a question for a longer podcast, probably.
you can't just do that over and over and hope it makes you feel.
That's the sound of my breakdown. What about that meme song that Katy Perry used in that fucking video that she did last year?
Swish, swish.
It was like really weird. Yeah, that should be in the soundtrack. Anyway, as you were, Ben, this is why you didn't want me getting involved, but you asked for it, so this is your fault.
I'm happy with this turnout. This is fantastic. It feels as though I'm doing more work than I actually have done, so it's good. It's going to be Captain Britain. It's going to be quite removed from the original story, but at the same time keeping key elements. It's definitely for the modern Marvel TV show audience. So people like me, essentially, people between the ages of 18 and 38. I don't know what the current audience is. Marvel stuff. Fucking no.
That very common demographic of 18 to 38.
It's babies, men, and
The
men
18 to
babies.
30. Yes. Yeah, and bears pretending to be men.
Bear.
There's going to be all
Bears.
kinds of demographics. Bears pretending to be
Finally,
so,
we get to
yeah.
the real issues on this podcast. I have been waiting to talk about bear men for not bear men, bear men. There's a difference.
Lots of
Oh
men.
my god, please do the pitch.
They live among us, people, and it's about time you woke up. Yeah.
Sheeple. Anyway. So basically, yeah. What we're looking at here is a story of a young man in a country where there are lots of superheroes. The portrait of Britain that I'm going to paint is one that is. It's split. It's split along almost every line you can think of. Geographically, north, you've got south, you've got Scotland, Cornwall. People have their own identities and they're very strongly sticking to them. And they are suspicious of anyone outside. It's very similar to what we're looking at today. People are creating cultural identities in their own small areas, and they're becoming more untrustworthy of those around.
So topical.
Right, yeah, exactly. This is going to be a topical fucking show. This is going to be talking about the broad swipes here are going to be talking about what it means to be British in the 21st century, which is a controversial topic. That you can't discuss Britishness without talking about race, without talking about the dodgy. I say dodgy past. That's massively underputting it.
Undersells
The
colonialism a little bit.
Yeah, colonialism. It's a bit dodgy, isn't it?
Mate,
watch out! Here come the.
You know, like
here come the British.
how Will Smith gets to do a rap at the end of each of his films.
Yeah.
We should just get Professor Elemental to do the rap. for the end of.
I miss when Will Smith used to rap for his films.
He should do more of that rapping.
He hasn't done it since like Switch.
He's having like a midlife crisis at the minute.
Yeah.
He started a vlog.
Oh, he's so sad.
What's it
He's
with
such
like
a sad man.
men in their, middle-aged men and blogging?
No, the
Well, it's all these mid-90s comedians who are just... They're seeing that the world they've created is entirely hollow. Jim Carrey's the same.
Carrey's
No,
just
that was a
kind of
film
crazy.
that Jim Carrey was in.
Ha! Ho! No, if you see him nowadays, Jim Carrey, he's a complete
Where his fucking
nihilist.
wife died.
Yeah, yes, sure.
That might put
Okay.
a bit of a downer
But-
on your day. Have you met Keanu Reeves recently?
But it's... Did you ever watch... Have you seen... Oh, this is going way off topic.
That's
I've only
fine,
got
that's
a few
fine.
minutes left. There's going to be no pitch from me at all. It's going to be kind of brilliant. What do you think? That's going to be the length of it. But did you see Jim and
haven't seen
Andy
it yet,
on
no.
Netflix?
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. It's the documentary about how the lengths that Jim Carrey went to in filming
right.
Man on the Moon, the
Yeah.
Andy Kaufman film, and in it he becomes
Yeah.
Andy Kaufman. He loses himself entirely, and you can tell that it has a prolonged effect on his mind. He loses a part of his identity, and he never really
Yeah.
gets it back. It's anyway.
Yeah, sorry,
Captain Britain.
sorry, yeah.
Captain Britain, not starring Jim Carrey. Or Andy Kaufman.
Will Smith.
So, or Will Smith is a toss-up.
Don't
Maybe
call
we'll see
him
if he
that.
can fit him in.
Psylocke.
Like he's a he could be Psylocke. Well, Psylocke. Okay, just to clarify this, Captain Britain's sister Betsy. Her mind went into the mind of a telepathic woman from, I can't remember where she was from. I think the Middle East. And that she became Psylocke. So the body technically wasn't his sister's body.
Why are you
but the mind
clarifying that?
was.
That's weird that you clarify
Fucking,
that.
I
After
don't know.
Callum's
I
comments,
feel as I have
that's-
to.
fucking. You seem to be trying to justify.
I think someone's had a bit
To
of
be
a
honest,
Google
as I
while he's
You're
been
like, oh, it's
pitching.
okay now.
That's why he keeps going off topic.
I
'cause he's
honest-
like Psylocke X Captain Britain.
Just gonna read this. Can they have sex?
It's okay because it's only
Apparently they
combined.
can.
Would that
and
be
these
okay?
these 15 accounts on DeviantArt have depicted it pretty graphically.
I'm gonna send you guys
I'd
some
really
images
rather
I
you
found. So anyway, any fucking way. Okay, Captain Britain. Okay, this is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Captain Britain. Is going to be this young man. He is a bit of a rowdy guy. Is
that his
talking
name,
drugs,
Rowdy
talking raves. His name's Rowdy Guy. His name is fucking. What's his name? Braddock. His name is Brian Braddock. Is his name, and he's old money. His family used to be quite rich, but like everyone else in the fucking world, apart from the 1%, fallen on bad times, and he's had to go to some shitty university. And he's not happy. He's spiraling. He's drinking a lot. He's going out to raves. He's doing a lot of drugs. He's crashing and burning at his university. He's doing very badly. One night he meets a young lady in one of these nightclubs. There's sex in the bathroom. There's punch ups. There's violence. It's the whole tone of this is going to be gritty. It's going to be as real as possible. I know that as a 35-year-old man, I'm probably not the best person to be pitching a youth-orientated superhero idea, but it's going to be if Misfits and Skins has told me anything, it's that young people can be sexy too. I don't know how I'm going to finish
What
that.
is happening?
I don't know. So anyway, so he meets this young woman called Megan, and she's not from round here. She is at first, to all appearances, it looks as though she is the daughter of some travellers in the area. She's got cousins and siblings who are rough and protective of her. They're not happy that she's hanging around with this once posh, or actually very posh as far as they're concerned, this posh lad. one night when they get together, they sneak out and they meet up together. They turn up, these cousins and brothers, his family of Megan, and they drag her away. They beat the shit out of Brian, and they drag her away. They drag her into the countryside. He follows, wounded, and they reach a stone circle on the hill. We'll have seen this stone circle before in a more banal context. They'll have been drinking there, they'll have been having a rave there, but now it's empty. They get there. He shows up to stop them, to face against them, leave her alone is his intent. But they disappear completely, and he can't find them. As he's trying to look for them, as he's trying to see where they've gone, there's nowhere they could obviously have disappeared to. There's no trees, there's no shrubberies. He runs around the stones trying to find them, but they're completely gone. As he's looking, from nowhere, a huge man on horseback rears in front of him. The man is wearing a Union Jack armour. The helmet, breastplate. He's got a huge Union Jack shield. He's got an
Is this
enormous
the new leader
sword.
of UKIP?
Well, I was going to make him black, so probably not. And he charges out of out of nowhere, and he leaps over Brian on his horse, and he brings his sword down on a huge beast behind him that was about to attack Brian. It looks like a chimera built of all different kinds of animals: a lion's face, a scorpion's tail, eagle's wings. He brings it down on the chimera, and they fight. And Brian's in the middle of this, looking up, and this enormous, strange-looking knight is fighting this monster. The monster gets of the knight and wounds him fatally. The knight falls to the ground, and the monster escapes down the hill. The knight dies, passes away, but before he does, he grasps Brian's hand as Brian runs over to see if he's all right. As the knight passes away, an old man appears next to them. This is going to be Merlin. And Merlin tells Brian that this man was the champion of another Britain, another world, another Albion. He says he was the champion.
Can Merlin be played by Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull?
No. Just to fucking spite you. No, you can't. In fact, I'm going to put proviso in this. This will only be made if he is not involved in any way. So.
That means we can't do
move,
the ending credits being Aqualung. For fuck's sake, what's the point?
This and Merlin says that monster that escaped is going to kill people. It's going to hurt people. Someone needs to stop it. Would you be that man? Would you stop it? And Brian Braddock, he is a fuck up. He is crashing and burning, but he is a good soul at heart. He does have courage in him, and he says yes. And Merlin touches him, and the Captain Britain suit appears on him, a Union Jack with cowl, and just like a big Union Jack onesie. And Brian's not happy. He's like, "This, I can't wear this. This is ridiculous. No one wears Union Jacks. I can't do this." And he's told by Merlin this is the uniform of the guards of Albion, and he's sent off down the hill. And from there it becomes quite a Monster of the Week kind of show. We find out that there's been a tear between the different universes, the different worlds, a weakness in the magic. These places have become weaker, these stone circles, they're where magic has become weaker, and so things from other worlds are coming through. We learn that Megan is actually a fey, a fairy from a fey world, a fey version of England, and that her brothers and cousins are goblins, elves, that kind of thing. Is it, actually? Yeah. I have to apologise to all travellers listening to the podcast. That wasn't my intention. I mean, that'd be a traveller. The idea of the traveller was purely so she wouldn't be from round there. She'd have a reason to be there, but not be a local. I suppose there's plenty of reasons for that to be the case. Pick one, and that can be it. There'd also be the concept in this show that there would be local heroes around the country. Some of them with minor superpowers, some of them just vigilantes who decided to pick up a weapon. There's a local folk hero near me called the Middleton Archer, who's just a famous bowman from the area. So there could be a hero who takes on that garb, becomes an archer, much like Green Arrow or Hawkeye, something like that. Up and down the country, all these local folk heroes are having modern doubles. All the let me see. In London, Gog and Magog, two strong men who are fighting criminals in the London underworld. Let me see. Things like.
Can we have Etrigan?
No, can you? Etrigan. Gone, Etrigan, come again, the fourth man. You mean the
shit.
DC?
I was about to say.
You are absolutely right. Yeah,
Probably
not.
fucking not.
Fucking. I was trying to think of like mystic characters, and I'm so much more a DC guy than I'm Marvel. Sorry. Can we have the dream?
That's all right. But
Can death be there, please?
the dream.
What about Zatanna?
Superman. Can I have Superman in it?
Can he meet John Constantine? Can
so
they
yeah,
go on adventures?
Fucking son of a bitch. These heroes wouldn't necessarily be Marvel brand heroes. These are going to be just vigilantes, essentially. Little more than vigilantes. Maybe one or two of them have found a magic weapon or alien technology and have upped their game a bit. But apart from that, these are going to be just normal folk who decided to take matters into their own hands. Opposing these normal folk and acting as the overarching villain of the series is going to be Jim Jaspers. No, Jim Jaspers is an MP. Right? Jimmy Jaspers. He's an MP.
Jaffa Cakes.
And he is going to represent the divisive, nationalistic force in government. His platform is to get rid of heroes, vigilantes, anyone who has any kind of extra normal ability, which is not uncommon. Now that the magic, the barrier between this world and the other worlds and these areas of magic are getting
and you've got what happened
weaker.
in Civil War as well. Like that's already
exactly,
transpired.
yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it happened in the Americas. It could happen here, sort of thing.
Well, yes, yeah. Obviously, the Sokovia Accords is something that would be referenced quite heavily. We need to shut it down. We need to have nothing like this. So no superhumans, no anyone with kind of enhanced. That's the term they use. No enhanced.
For now.
And they're getting more of them because exactly. Fingers crossed, mutants. And there's getting more of them because of the magic that's seeping through. People are finding that they're having.
Oh, so
powers.
you've
Just
kind of
not many, just
sorry to
here and
interrupt.
there.
You've kind of got like the Flash. What happened with the Flash with the fucking
Exactly.
the explosion, the anomaly
Yes.
gave people a bunch of powers.
I've got an excuse to have crazy
Yeah,
people doing crazy shit. It's the meteor rocks in Smallville. It's the collider blowing up in the Flash.
Yeah.
All these kind of shows. It's going to be
the magical
in that
MacGuffin.
vein. It's gonna, yeah, and so we're going to have those kind of magical MacGuffin shows melded with the gritty, just real life of British people, essentially, that you see in. I was going to say you see in Misfits. That's not really the real life British people. They don't have powers, but a lot of what's in Misfits and in Skins is real, even though it's a fantasy and even though it's just a story. A lot of it is true, and that's there's going to be a very similar thread in this as well. Yeah. But yes, Jim Jaspers. Very very quickly, Jim Jaspers is himself an enhanced. He has a Omega level power,
shit.
to use an X-Men term. He can change reality to his own whim. So he'll be sitting there with a cup of tea, and he's like, "Oh, I wanted Earl Grey," and then the camera goes blurry for a second, and then excellent. So it's very minor, and he hardly even notices he's doing it. In fact, he has no idea that he's doing it because he's mad. and he's going madder and madder every
Yeah.
day. Throughout the series, he is going to be sending out troops, teams, to stop these enhanced people that are on the streets, trying to protect their communities, trying to protect themselves. First of all, just as sort of legislation banning them, and then later on as jackbooted thugs walking the streets, taking down anyone who even looks as though they might be enhanced. Even if they have no powers, but their hair's a different colour, or if their features look a bit strange, they're going to be taken down. It's going to have flashes of fascism. Actually, no, not just flashes. Very strong connotations of fascism there. He eventually becomes prime minister and sets up concentration camps for the enhanced, for the different people. By this point, he's fucking crazy. He doesn't even know it, but everything around him is shifting and melding at his own whim. He's flying through the air in a giant teacup in the comic books, but I won't be that gross, I don't think, in the show. The idea behind him is he's going to embody the just insanity of politics, the insanity of where the country appears to be headed sometimes. And it gets worse and worse, and eventually he creates a monster called the Fury. And the Fury is an unstoppable killing machine designed to hunt and kill enhanced. That's the culmination of his plan. And the Fury can follow through different dimensions. So there's no escaping this thing. And the last episode in this series, so essentially the arc's going to be, okay, Jim Jaspers is rounding up and killing heroes. Britain is low-key trying to find these aberrations that have come through the portals, while at the same time gathering around him a team of trusted allies, of representing, hopefully, without being too crass about it, all different walks of life, all different parts of British culture. They'll represent the best of what it means to be British, the bravery that I think is inherent in our culture, the keep calm and carry onism of British life. And they'll represent that. They represent lots of different things. But there's going to be fear there as well. There's going to be hatred. There's going to be xenophobia. There's going to be intolerance. That, as well as fighting monsters, they'll also be fighting that as well. And eventually, the Fury, this creature that is created by Jim Jaspers, will kill Captain Britain. It'll hunt him down. It'll kill his friends, and it will kill him. And only in that sacrifice, when Captain Britain dies. Oh no, I've lost it.
Is that
How that? Oh,
those his
shit.
final words?
Oh,
no, I
man.
lost it.
I've lost the train of thought.
It was going
I've lost
so
the
well.
green. I know. Hold on, wait. Shit. It wraps up. So the Fury has to kill him because that's what the Fury is built for. But then he comes back, spurred on by, oh shit, what if fucking he's done so well to become a beacon of hope and equality and inclusion and tolerance that the entire country comes together.
So I believe in fairies.
I believe in fairies. I believe in Captain Britain. They wish for his return, and Merlin is able to use that energy, that combined spirit, that fighting and never give up, never surrender spirit of the British people in that time of need when Captain Britain dies, very publicly, obviously. They can use that to bring him back again as the legendary hero, akin to Arthur, akin to. Let me see, who else do we have in British history that's a legendary hero? Fucking, like a bit of the Green Man in there as well. the Green Man of the Forests. Shit, there's all kinds of fucking deep mythology going to be going on here. So he's brought back, and with that power, the power of the people behind him, he manages to defeat the Fury and defeat Jaspers. Man, okay, yeah. Preach. Yeah, that's it.
Not too bad if I do say so myself.
Yeah, pulled that out my arse, didn't I?
Oh dear.
Boom, and then it ends with Nickelback's.
I'm so high, I can hear heaven.
Did they do I Wanna Be a Rock Star? That'll be it. That'll be the last song.
Seems a bit of a random addition to this film.
Can we play, like, if it's going to be about...
big fat
if it's going to be
car.
about, like, magic and stuff, can't we have, like, some old prog? Like, old English prog. Weird shit.
Oh, yeah.
Gentle
Yeah.
Giant.
King Crimson.
and stuff.
Well,
King
I'd-
Crimson. Fuck yeah, King Crimson.
That's
The fucking end, like, mid-season, when, Jaspers realises who he is, you end with the Court of the Crimson King as the closing credits.
What's
that'd be fucking amazing.
21st century.
Schizoid Man could be the first
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Well, I want all that. I want it to have like every British person, I know everyone in the world will be able to look at this and see something they recognise as inherently British. You got your real ales in there. You got your maypole
Are
dancing
you
in
like
there.
getting a significant tax cut from the British Tourism Board?
They would pay for the entire thing. They would fucking love this shit. This is pro-British in the purest, most equal, inclusive, tolerant way. This is exactly the kind of picture of Britain that everyone who's not a fucking brown shirt wants to portray.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what a brown shirt is and whether it's racist.
Nazi.
Oh, they
were the predecessors to the SS.
Oh.
Yeah, Oswald Mosley had a bunch of them under his thumb. Yeah. I kind of want to watch it now. I'm quite sad that I just made it up. I'm sad that it's not actually going to be a real thing. I'm like, yeah, when's this?
This is now going to be really crushing for you based on how much you're hyping.
I mean, if we're going to talk about
something.
things we pitched and then we're disappointed that we're never going to see it, you can imagine how I feel. We're not going to talk about it, but you can imagine how I feel about the new Ninja Turtles.
But are you not hyped that Raph is the leader?
No, Callum.
Why is he the leader? What he's proved time and again
also
that he
doesn't
cannot
have
be the
Psy
leader, and
anymore.
he's
Ben.
fine with it.
Battle.
He has
Like
Tom Furs that glow
That's
through
what
some
they
sort of
He's-
magic, and he's about 7 foot tall, while the rest of the turtles are exactly the same size they've always been.
Apart
Apart from
Leo's
Leo,
now like
who-
weirdly snarky
Yeah.
and skinny.
Yeah, Leo's got like this feminine shape going on. Oh god, what if it's a soft reboot for Venus fucking de Milo? Oh, I've made myself mad. Oh my god, fucking horseshit.
You know what? I wasn't in on the turtles.
Oh,
I'm so sold.
God.
That's all I want.
Whoa, what if they're all Venus de Milo?
And Raph is 2 Venus de Milos, one on top of each other, like children in a big coat. Anyway, I'm sorry, we got off the topic. That was fucking cool. I would totally watch that, because then I'm imagining we can have an English version of the Defenders with Excalibur. For
Yes,
those of you who don't
yes,
know,
mate.
there's like a British Avengers called Excalibur. Blade was in it for a bit.
What?
Yeah,
Wasn't
Blade was
Rachel
Yeah.
Summers in Excalibur?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
Yeah, she's called Prestige
It was a
now.
weird time.
What? Yeah, because
Prestige.
so she was going by Ms. Marvel, I
Right.
believe.
Yeah, she was. She
But-
was, yeah.
But then because of the young, you know that
Kamala
the young
Khan.
X-Men. No, you know the young X-Men.
Generation
are
from
now-
Generation X.
No, so the at the end.
Oh, yeah, from the past,
Yeah,
yeah.
at the end, in order to stop Cyclops when he'd got all phoenixed up during AVX.
Okay, I'm lost.
Beast.
Yeah.
Beast brought the young versions of the original X-Men from their time forward to sort
Okay.
of help. And I think because that meant the young Jean Grey,
Yeah.
who was like, Ms. Marvel was
Yeah.
around, Rachel decided to sort of like separate herself a bit and like try and get a bit more of her own identity rather than just being a knock off Jean Grey.
Yeah.
I like as soon as you start trying to explain X-Men post from like Avengers versus X-Men on, when you have to start with, okay, so there's like the time displaced young X-Men. That's hard enough to explain it on its own without, the fact that like time displaced young Iceman is like happily out as gay, and that made old like our timeline Bobby realise he's gay.
Obviously.
Because Jean was like, why you fronting?
Because if 16-year-old me turned up and suddenly went, by the way, I'm gay and always have been, I'd just be like, yep, sure. Okay.
It's led to a pretty good solo comic though.
Cool, that's fine, but also what the fuck?
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There was uproar about that, wasn't there? Because it was like Jean Grey outed him by reading his mind.
Yeah, because the young one like says some sort of like typically teenage bullshit thing about like Psylocke's ass or something.
Yeah. And
Jean goes like, "Why are you doing that?" And he goes, "Well, what do you mean? She's hot." And Jean sort of goes, "Well, no, you're gay, Bobby."
That's kind of bullshit.
And he sort of goes, "Fuck yeah."
Not
fuck yeah.
Yeah. Just like really quietly, he just goes.
He goes, "Oh yeah,
fuck yeah."
Cheers.
No, it was like reasonably. I mean, aside from that, she does out him, which is kind of questionable. It was reasonably well handled with the young version.
Yeah,
but it does like it's sort of a bit weird when they're like they suddenly decided that Bobby's been repressed for like his entire life, and I'm like, cool, fine, it's comics, I'm willing to roll with it. But it was like, I feel like there were maybe better ways to explain this than just out young Bobby, and old Bobby then has to realise, well, if the young me's gay, I'm probably also repressed.
That explains why I like it so much.
No,
I keep buying all these cop-flavoured lollipops, and I've never really understood it.
He's never had like a successual relationship. Was part of like how they backed it up. Was going like, actually,
maybe because when he comes, he's made of ice.
I mean,
Slight problem.
He can go human, right? He's not
he can
ice.
go human, but in times of great peril or times of emotional like instability, the powers are going to come out. He can literally freeze the breath in your lungs. Of course, no one wants to fuck him. Are you for serious? Like what the what? He can cause, literally by being mad about it, he can cause a fourth or fifth ice age. Whatever the most recent ice age is. Not the films.
I like that Bobby just like can't orgasm just for the fear of what might happen.
Yeah. Well, instead of like sperming, there could be like darts of frozen cum like firing out of him.
That would be dangerous.
Exactly.
But now he's got
all you can think about is yourself, Callum. Right.
It's also the perfect crime.
Because it would melt. No, it wouldn't. Because it's full of his DNA. Like, yeah, we didn't find a murder weapon, but he's covered in spunk.
Wait, are you saying that the ice he turns into is full of DNA?
Well, yeah,
I said when he comes,
it's still organic.
It's full of
free range, mate.
Free range.
What does that mean?
Callum, why are you wanking at the farm? Like, you've been in trouble for wanking in the farm again. Free range, mate. Free range. That's not what that means, Callum.
The weirdest thing is they just accept that. Like, every time I get to court, just say free range, mate. They're like, oh, shit.
Like, fair enough. British values,
in.
British culture. Nice one. Off you fuck.
So yeah,
right, you've now got...
It's called Prestige now.
Okay, that's great. You've got 15 minutes to pitch whatever the fuck's in your head. Go.
Okay. 2 words. Spider-Verse.
Oh, no. Okay.
I don't know how the fuck we get there.
Brilliant.
You need to set up...
Wonderful.
No. The film itself is fine, but it does involve Morlun and...
Who?
Morlun, the vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Michael, whatever. Is that his name?
No, he's just called Morlun.
Michael.
You might be thinking of Morbius.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Morbius is the good one. Morlun's like just a big evil bastard who tries to suck the...
He's more of a life force vampire,
like,
isn't he? Than a...
Date a few of them, mates.
So you wouldn't have to get super into it within the actual film, but Morland's whole thing is basically him and his family, called the Inheritors, kill totems across the multiverse who are like animal totems. So Spider-Man is technically a spider totem.
This was in a. Don't. I'm gonna say something. Don't interrupt me. This was in a comic. I'm not talking about Spider-Verse. I'm aware that was a comic, but. There was a comic in the Ultimate Universe where Kraven was hunting like these totems, and then some owl dude was saying to Spider-Man, "Why do you think like you've kept alive this long? You're the totem of the spider," or some bullshit. And then he gets he gets almost killed by Kraven the Hunter, and then there's a thing where he like bursts through his own grave or some bullshit. It's in a comic. It's on my shelf somewhere. But
comics, man.
Sounds legit.
That sounds comics enough.
But anyway, I don't know that you wouldn't have to get super deep into the Titan thing in advance, but you have Morlan sort of introduced in some form. You know that he's like a vampire dude who tries to kill Spider-Man. You need to have the multiverse introduced. That doesn't have to happen in Spider-Man specifically, but just within the MCU, the idea that that's out there. This has also got... I'd want it like... few films down the line, if for no other reason than it allows Tom Holland to grow up a bit and be a bit of an older Spider-Man, which works for this. But yeah, so you have to have Morlan introduced, multiverse, Gwen Stacy has to happen.
Well, Gwen Stacy's already happened.
Not in the current Spider-Man.
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah,
she
sorry,
happened
my
in
bad.
Amazing.
My bad. Yeah.
But so basic idea of Spider-Verse. Morlan and the Inheritor, for those who haven't read it, Morlan and his family, the Inheritors, decide that once and for all, they're basically going to kill all of the spiders. And that it turns out they're going like across the multiverse, killing all the spiders. The Spider-Men don't seem to be able to stop them. Etc. It's all just going horribly. And the main idea is it ultimately involves every single Spider-Man / spider-adjacent character teaming up to fight the Inheritors. Which...
Hold on. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. Is there a chance that this film will include Spider-Ham?
Yeah, Peter Porker shows
up. Oh, fuck. Can we have Spider-Man as well? Because he turned... Fuck off. I'm not kidding. He turned up in the comic. In his fucking giant...
He's the one who's got the robot,
He's got a giant leopard Zord, yeah. And he's an
Don't know how I'd make all of it work, but they're all in there.
Yes!
Importantly...
Sold!
I'm bringing back Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to play some of the Spider-Men. Possibly Kane and Ben Reilly. That might not work in terms of they're meant to be actual clones, but they're playing some of the alternate Spider-Men.
Oh, fucking game set.
I don't know quite how you'd convince them, but and it might be a bit confusing for people, but whatever. So, yeah, Morlan shows up. Morlan can be played by, I don't know, someone creepy. Matthew McConaughey or something.
Ooh.
And they're hunting the Spider-Man. You get Silk gets introduced, who's like, yeah. Silk's weird.
Yeah, tell us who Silk is. So as the audience watching this film, explain Silk to us.
So, Silk is a woman named Cindy Moon, who was also bitten by the same spider that bit Peter.
I was going to ask what happened with that, with that spider.
Yeah, it just before it like dies or whatever, it goes and bites Silk.
Didn't it get swallowed by an old lady? She was trying to catch
fucking mouth. Then this dude called Ezekiel, who's like kind of one of the dudes who's obsessed with telling Spider-Man about being a totem and shit, found her and locked her away to like keep her safe from Morlan. And then I can't quite remember why, but for some reason Spider-Man like detects her somehow and ends up like freeing her.
I think doesn't Ezekiel die and he leaves the door to her bunker open, and he's like, Spider-Man's like, what the fuck is that smell? Smells like
Yeah, and they've got like this really weird pheromone attraction, and it turns out that part of it is because the Inheritors have this like prophecy where it's like the mother, the something like call it, which are basically different versions of Spider-Man. Where like Silk's the mother, I think. Kane's one of them.
The Shadow or
Kane,
something.
Kane Spider-Man 2099. That dude.
No, Kane is the fucked up clone of Ben Reilly.
Yes, from the Clone Saga. Yes, let's explain this in the preamble to the film.
I don't think with the Wikipedia page open in front of me I could explain the Clone Saga. So
I can explain the Clone Saga's fucking... The Clone Saga's... Actually, no, tell a lie.
Yeah, it's like... It starts off simple, where you're like, dude makes clones of Spider-Man, and then you get into like...
Yeah, there's the
okay,
Jackal,
but then like,
yeah,
Peter thinks he's the clone, and Ben Reilly becomes the Scarlet Spider, and somehow that goes on for like 3 years or something.
And Gwen Stacy... There's a clone of her involved.
So we're not going to go too deep into the Clone Saga. Somehow it happens that Kane and Ben exist, but we don't. We're very light on the Clone Saga in the lead up to this film. So yeah, Spider-Man finds Silk, and that's a big part of like what attracts the Inheritors. Is they go, okay, she's out, and it's like I think it's a prophecy. Is that there's one of the Inheritors is called the Weaver. Who's like this? He's got like a helmet thing like locked on his head forever, and he can like see through. He's kind of prophetic, and I think he warns them basically like these 5 top name spiders are basically a danger to the Inheritors' plans. They're like, okay, we're gonna kill off all of them. Ooh, excuse me. So all the Spider-Men start teaming up. You get Miles Morales, who's kind of been teased in Homecoming, so, you know, nice and easy, he already exists. Jessica Drew's in there. Gwen, this was the, like, proper main introduction, I think, of Spider-Gwen. I think. I might be wrong on that, but she was, like, a big thing in this. And there's, like, the whole... I loved the moment where... basically our Peter, 616 Peter, meets Spider-Gwen and like completely freaks out because obviously it's Gwen Stacy, it's a Gwen Stacy strong, and it's like his new chance to protect her is to basically go, Gwen doesn't go anywhere. Gwen does not go anywhere near the Inheritors. She's not getting in this fight. I can actually save a Gwen Stacy this time. And that doesn't really work out. Like,
save a Gwen, any Gwen, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he ultimately has to realise, and she basically says to him, like, you know, I was told, I can't remember, I think Miles or something tells her what happened, and she goes, well, you know, on my Earth I couldn't save my Peter Parker, so let's just, you know, keep an eye out for each other. And they find refuge, ultimately, in the universe of the Spider-Man who kept the power cosmic, because basically he's too powerful for the Inheritors to come fuck with them there. Ultimately, that doesn't work out either. I can't remember. I think it's like basically one of the Inheritors like either get enough life force or whatever from other spiders they've picked up that they can come and fight Captain Universe, Spider-Man. And you in the comics you get where the spiders split into the different teams, where you got like Miles Morales and like some of the young spiders went off, and it was kind of a wacky thing where there was like the Spider-Mobile and shit. You had like the clones were a team where you had like Ben Reilly and shit, and Kane, I think. Though actually I think one of them died or was dead at the beginning of this. Either way, yeah, so they all split into different teams, so like Jessica Drew's off on a team, you've got Peter off on a team. Spider-Man 2099 is there, Spider-Man 2099 does not get put out there enough as how cool he is.
Miguel O'Hara,
like,
he's
if for
fantastic.
no other reason, that costume is amazing.
Oh, amazing.
Which costume, sorry?
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2099?
Yeah, it's a good costume.
Oh yes, yeah, I know one with the pink and the umbrella.
And
Yeah,
one of
that
the other cool things is that Superior Spider-Man appears, and they have this whole thing about like. I don't really know if it would fit into this because it was obviously like a bit of a comic continuity cool moment.
It completely would
yeah.
not convert.
But you know, it's a cool moment anyway in the comic where
it is.
Superior Spider-Man has to realise that if Peter is here, what does that mean for what happened to his ultimate timeline? But yeah, you know, either way. Gotham different teams. They're trying to shut down. The Inheritors have got, it's like a factory or something that I think it makes new bodies for them, so that they can live forever because they can forever be cloned. Silk eventually gets captured, I believe. So they all have to team up and go back. But one of the big reveals is that they end up on I think it's the only world the Inheritors can't come. It's like toxic to them or something. Shut up, Ben. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, here we go. The Bride and the Scion. That's it. Though that's the different ones, and it's I think the Bride is Silk, the other's Kane, and then the Scion is it's like Peter's I think it's Peter's kid from the universe where
Mayday.
But no, it's like her little brother, not Mayday. It's Mayday's universe, but it's her little brother. Anyway, on this, it's the last world that's toxic to the Inheritors, and it's because it was irradiated after Doc Ock, like, nuked the world, basically. But the last living person on this planet, and their Spider-Man, is Uncle Ben. And so you have this, like, massive moment where basically every Peter Parker is like, oh my god! There's an Uncle Ben alive on one Earth! But yeah, so that moment would have to happen. You'd have to have actually, yeah, you know what? You can make Captain Universe Spider-Man work. You don't, but you just, rather than say I'm from the universe where you didn't give up the power cosmic, you just have it's like, oh, I gained the power cosmic, and maybe he has like a line explaining what the fuck that is. But basically, just, you know, I'm super powerful. There you go. So this is my safe zone. Inheritors can't show up.
It sounds like what you're trying to create here is what the Avengers was to the first few Marvel films. This would be to the Spider, the Spider universe that Sony's creating.
I basically want, like, I mean, it exists. The weird thing is, obviously, like, Spider-Man kind of now exists in the MCU, and Spider-Verse doesn't. Spider-Verse builds off stuff that the rest of the MCU builds in terms of like the multiversal stuff, but it's very Spider focused. But I want it to be. The reason I loved Spider-Verse was, even though it got a bit confusing and they had like, I didn't really like how they did that classic event comic thing where, where it's like, oh, read this, but then also often here you'll get the side story where this team did that, and you got to buy that issue separately. I'm like, I kind of just want to read Spider-Man. I just want to be able to subscribe to the one comic I'm already subscribed to and just get the whole story. But yeah, so ultimately they all. The spiders all team up to fight. They like slowly. A couple of like Kane kills one of the Weavers in a battle, but then he gets killed. They go off and they manage to like break down the. They manage to break into the sort of the spider homeworld, as it were. No, Inheritor homeworld even. Like, eventually all the teams go off and they do missions, like one of them takes down the cloning facility. But it really comes down to them. They have to save Benji, Mayday's little brother, and Silk, who has like infiltrated there himself. And the reveal towards the end is that one of the Weaver Inheritor, I can't remember if he is himself a spider or if he just hates the other Inheritors. But they like pull off his helmet towards the end and reveal that he isn't. I think he's another Peter Parker. I might be completely wrong about that.
I'm going to admit, buddy, I am fucking confused.
Good. Welcome to comics.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
okay.
Like, I love comics, and I'm very fucking confused. And I kind of caught the start of Spider-Verse, and I think I've read a little bit of Spider Island and stuff like that, where everyone in the world got spider powers. But how is this going to work as a film? How is Johnny Tan McDickhead from Essex and his girlfriend Stacey going to go and watch this film? Like, I fucking love a Marvel film. I fucking love Marvel. Yeah, it's well good. I love Batman. Right? How's that dickhead going to go to the cinema and understand a single thing that's going on?
I think you can do it. I think you'd need to pull it. You need
to strip it down. It would have to be.
Power Cosmic is gone. I'm really sorry,
Yeah.
but Power Cosmic has got to be out of there. You've got to bring it down to just characters they've seen before in other Spider-Man films. Your Venom, your Spider-Man. I mean, maybe in those films you could build up and get a bit of Silk in there, get a bit of other people, but they've got all the characters in this that are main characters that do stuff need to be people they've seen before. You can have all your Spider-Hams and your Spider-Man as like background decorations to say, look at all these Spider-Men in the world, but they can't be main people that we have to say, here's who this is and here's why he's important.
You could start.
'Cause then you've lost him.
With a Ben Reilly, or
I think the main issue, you have to have a reasonable amount of setup before, like, for this, in order to do Spider-Verse, you have to have met or at least been introduced to the idea of Morlun. You don't have to have the whole totem thing, but you have to know scary vampire dude wants to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's maybe got a family.
Well, he could be your Thanos.
Yeah.
He can be the Spider-Verse Thanos. Have him in different films going up.
Ben Reilly exists.
Because there's already been a Clone Saga
which
film.
we will make as simple as shit versus the regular thing. Gwen Stacy exists, preferably, because Spider-Gwen's awesome, and I'd like to have her in there. She's a good relationship. Silk doesn't need to exist until Spider-Verse as a film. If you wanted, you could do Spider-Verse as a two-part film, where like the first part is sort of the gathering of the spiders, and then the second part is them sort of going to war. It's like
you'd need to have a film prior to this in which, you know, the whole storyline where Peter first meets Ezekiel and learns about the spider totem.
Is Ezekiel the owl guy?
And that's the one where
I don't think he's an owl, dude. He's just like
he's like an older kind of guy. He's also a spider totem, so he has the same power as a Spider-Man. And he sort of says, it's not because you're bitten by a spider per se, it's because you've tapped into this mystical totem energy, and you can now have the power of a spider. And in that storyline, Spider-Man actually becomes an actual spider.
I don't like that. That was weird. And
yeah,
he got like spines out of his arm at one point. But I wonder if you can cut Ezekiel though and go like, the whole thing is Silk being in a vault happens, but then you have like at worst a little over exposition-y thing with like a holograms left for Spider-Man or whatever, or some sort of letter with when he finds Silk, which is just an explanation that like, this is Cindy Moon, she was bitten by the same spider as you, protect her. And like, you can leave that as a mystery that you could potentially set up, then like, okay, maybe in like down the line Spider-Man then gets to find out about the totems, but that's not important because right now he just has to look after Silk. Then Morlun shows up, Or, no, maybe one of the other spiders we know shows up.
Okay.
Injured Ben or something.
We're
Ben shows
we're
up.
like at an hour now. We'll pass an hour.
I'm going to really
Okay.
quick, yeah.
Okay.
He finds out expeditionary things, which just tells him Protector. Injured Ben Reilly appears, saying, like, Morland's here, and, like, he just... No, Kane shows up, and Kane says, Morland is here, and he just fucking killed Ben Reilly.
Oof.
Or something to that effect. Or, he killed one of the spiders we know. Then you get Peter going, like, what's going on? Other spiders maybe start showing up to... we maybe have, like, 4 main spider people we know, and they start showing up going, oh my god, everything's going wrong, everything's going crazy. You have some version of the safe zone, we can get rid of the power cosmic, but a temporary reprieve. Then you get them going, okay, we need to... You make it a lot more quick and less like, it was a whole one-shot in the comics where they go off and do the separate missions, where, like, we got to shut down all these things. You can have, like, the side Spider-Men, you can lose a few of them there to make it important. Ultimately, it comes to Silk gets kidnapped. We'll have to get rid of, like, the whole... You probably have to lose Mayday and Benji just to make that, but just make it so that... Look... I would love to have all of the Spider-Men in here, Ben. I want 20 films leading up to Spider-Verse where we meet every single Spider-Man that I like
individually.
Individually. Solo projects. Own Marvel to Netflix TV series. But we just make it so that the prophecy is that if Peter gets to spend too long with Silk or something, they're ultimately going to join up and become too powerful or whatever for the inheritance to be. Something, bullshit like that. It's basically about Peter and Cindy having met each other. So she gets captured, she gets caught or whatever, and they're going to sacrifice her. Peter shows up, and then what helps them is the fact that, the Weaver inheritor dude basically lied to the other inheritors with his prediction. And it was all to set up, and he helps the spiders ultimately win the big fight. And for some reason Matthew McConaughey's Morland. I can't think of I'm going completely blank on creepy actors. Who's good at vampires? Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. They can reprise their roles from.
Oh, damn, that sounds awful.
And absolutely, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in there as spiders, even if they're only in there for like 5 minutes.
That alone clinched it for me. That fact alone is enough for me to and Donald Glover.
Yeah. Donald Glover plays like old Miles Morales.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right.
I don't know how that works when like young Miles Morales for some reason they're like.
Well, they're releasing it as an animated film, aren't they?
Yeah, with him voicing.
Yeah. Miles Morales.
But I don't know quite how I'd convince like. We've got young Miles, but also, for some reason, time displaced old Miles, just because I wanted Donald Glover to play him. And then Venom can be in there with Tom Hardy playing him, because God knows what the fuck they're doing with that film.
Very excited. Cool, okay. Right.
Did that ultimately end up in a version which you understood what was happening?
Sort of. I don't know if I'm just having a case of ADHD or whether there's just a lot going on. And
there's a lot going on.
I'm just trying to think of what would be the most viable, like.
I mean, Ben's is like a lot easier to do.
Yeah,
Ben's is like.
But then, like, we're not. I'm not a fucking Hollywood producer. I don't have to decide on what I would. But I'm just trying to think of what would be it like narratively. What's the most cohesive? And I just. If I saw those, if I'm scrolling Facebook and I'm looking at like the announcements and someone's announcing Captain Britain, I'd be like, what? Why? And then I'd have a little read and I'd be like, I'll probably watch that. Yeah, like I watched Iron Fist. I was like, it can't be as bad as Iron Fist. So, which was a complete like meh. Like I hate that phrase, but it was a complete like
it wasn't as bad as people said.
Yeah, it was a nothing. It was much of a muchness. It was something to have on in the background. But yeah, but if I saw Spider-Verse, I'd be like, what? I'd be like, I don't understand Spider-Verse. And I read comics. Like, Spider-Man was my favourite hero when I was a kid, and I read a lot of comics sort of since then. But what? And although my heart would fucking leap at seeing Spider-Man in Leopardon, his fucking leopard droid, saying,
I don't know how I'd work Spider-Man in
saying,
there.
I am an emissary from hell. Well, that would make me happy.
Like, I've had to cut out the fucking Spider-Mobile in Captain Universe Peter Parker. I don't know how I'm fitting in the fucking Gundam.
Okay, fine. You've sealed your fate. It's Ben then. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick Ben begrudgingly, because I want to see a bullshit mental Spider-Man film. Like,
Yeah, so do I. 100%. If I saw those two on Netflix, Captain Britain TV show or Spider-Verse, I'd be like, Spider-Verse me up, bitch.
Yeah, it is like, I will fully admit, like, I don't expect that to win because it's like something I want to see.
Yeah,
but that's
you,
because like,
you've got to pitch the films you want to see.
So I loved Spider-Verse, but yeah, like, if you try to explain it, it's like, look, have you watched the 20 Spider-Man films that led up to this? Do you know who Miguel O'Hara is? Have you heard of Peter Porker?
Oh Christ! Right, okay. Well done, Ben. I'm gonna roll the magic dice now because we are vastly over time.
Okay, but what if I pitched an indie Hawkeye film?
Roll this now. We've already done that one. Classic sci-fi remake. I'll take this. I mean, I kind of have to. I don't think I've pitched in a while, actually.
I'll host. I don't have anything for that.
And I will also
host.
Yeah, so we'll just listen to you.
Okay. As much as that sounds like it's the perfect thing for me, that sounds like hell on earth. Right, cool. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening. Next week we will have a sci-fi thing reimagined by both myself and Mr. Ben Fee. You can find us on Twitter. I'll put it in the... No, I won't put it in the description because the description will be witty and hilarious. But we've spoken about our Twitters before. Find us, or follow Geek Pride at Geek Pride 1. Mock them mercilessly for that number 1 at the end. And I don't know why I'm doing this because this will be at the end anyway. But you can message content at geek-pride.co.uk. I've been Mike Orvis. He's been Callum Tyndall.
Imagine. Here's a great reimagining of a classic.
And he's been Ben
Star
Fee.
Wars, but Darth Vader is young. Like a child.
Oh my god, and we could have like a Jamaican funny character.
Imagine if Darth Vader was a child and there was some sort of racing.
Yes.
I want to say with like a capsule shaped
like a pod.
Like a Tide pod.
And the Force is actually tiny insects.
Oh my
now
god.
this is pod racing.
Now we're cooking with gas. Right, he's been Ben Fee.
That's true.
And we shall see you next week. We really need to come up with a sign-off. If you've got a good idea for a sign-off, send it to...
This is pod racing.
And this is... Should we just do that unironically? Like, unironically from now on... That's the sign-off. I will never remember this, but that's the sign-off. Yeah, it'd be like, I'm Mike Orvis, he's Callum Tyndall, he's Ben Fee, and this is Pod Racing.
Pod Racing.
See you later. Yeah, cool. Bye. Okay, so firstly, you have absolutely no idea the shit I've been through to try and get this to work. Hello, I'm Mike Orvis, and my microphone exploded yesterday. I had to go and get a new cable, and I'm sick, and it's just all horribly... My car broke today, and I'm not having a good day. I already said what you've got to do. I just feel like I need to get this off my chest now. Geary, I don't know. Like, I've had too much of a bad day to even rag on Geary. Like, this is bullshit. Next week is the penultimate episode. We sort of forgot that it was the penultimate episode. No doubt this is all bullshit and lies, and then we do talk about it. But, yeah. We also forgot about that this is pod racing thing, but I'll try and bring that back in season 3, so sorry, everyone. If you do like what you've heard, then you can get in contact at content@geek-pride.co.uk. Make sure you mark it as pitch, please, because Geary just shreds our mail like a really overbearing mother. If you're an overbearing mother, stop it. Stop it.